site of special scientific interest in 1971. It was also made into a nature reserve in more recent years. During the winter months, the bird population here can increase to up to 3,000 birds at a time, and most of these migrate north by the spring to countries around the Arctic Circle. Now that we're into late September, it won't be long now before the first of our winter visitors arrive. Some of them might be here now already. Snowdon is in the background in line with its cream-coloured house on the shore to our left. It's snow, see bits of snow anyway in this one. So to the left in the foreground, coming up in line with the house now, is Moelelio. That's the one with the big round top. Moelelio is just a few feet shorter than 2 before, and the one on the right is 100 feet lower. That's Smyrna's Mawr, also known as the Elephant Mountain due to its shape. And I'll point them out once more on the way back in case you missed one on the way out. This estuary on our left, it dries completely in the water at most tides. It'll dry almost out to where we are here, the big tides. The only water there at low water most tides is the fresh water running down the river. You see lots of birds on this bit of land to our left here now. The large black ones higher, the cormorants, and lower down there's a long line of waders. Mainly oyster catcher. Over 100 oyster catcher there. This is the southwest entrance to the Menai straight ahead of us now. This is where the strait runs out into Caernarfon Bay, and the Irish Sea tide runs very strongly. It creates quite a bottleneck for the tide, and we're on fairly small tides at the moment, so the tide would certainly run well under 4 knots here today. There'll be 3.5 knots. On big tides, we had some big tides a week ago now. We'd have been running at 5 or 6 knots. One of the big to very big with 6 knots, which is over 7 miles an hour, is a very strong tide. Point across the water on our right hand angle. See now, this is Abermenai Point. Aber means river mouth, and Abermenai Point is the southernmost point on Anglesey. It's favourite anchorage for the yachts and weekends during nice weather. There's one small boat near to the anchorage on our right here at the moment. This point is also the southern tip of this huge area of sand dunes which I mentioned earlier. This is the Newborough Warren. It's a nature reserve, and it's 4 miles long, and it's the longest stretch. See a bit more of it there now. It goes beyond the next headland by half a mile. The next headland is Llandwyn Island. That's the headland with a lighthouse in it. Llandwyn Island was named after Santes Dwynwen, which is our patron saint for lovers of Wales, and is only an island at high water on big tides. Well, fairly big tides in it. To the right of the main lighthouse there's a row of cottages. These are the old pilots' cottages. Caernarfon was a very busy commercial port, especially over 100 years ago, exporting hundreds of thousands of tons of slates mainly. These loads, these slates in the quay by the castle from where we sail. That's why they call it the Slate Quay. And the pilots would row out or sail out from Llandwyn Island to board the old schooners outside the Caernarfon bar. Ahead of us now, there's 3.5 miles of winding channel between the north and the south banks before you get out into deep water. It's very deep here. There's 60 feet of water just off this point on our left, and to our right in the deepest part. It's over 80 feet in parts, closer to 90 feet in the deepest part at high water. If you're there at high water, the biggest tides. But it does get a lot shallower again once you're through the entrance. This is where we turn. We've got the flood tide with us going back, which will enable us to travel a lot faster. The breeze, though, is going to be coming from ahead of us. So now we get fresher on the back way back.
Huh?
Bellin Fort on our left, and the cannon. I'll tell you more about the cannon in a minute. Bellin Fort was built as a result of the Napoleonic Wars, built by the local landowner Thomas Wynne in 1776. He later became the first Lord Newborough, and the fort was in the Newborough family for many generations up until the early 1980s. And they opened it up to the public as a tourist attraction in the 1970s. It even had its own ferry service at the time, but it wasn't paying. And while it was open to the public, they used to test fire some of the cannon here on the Wednesday and Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock with them. Now, prevailing southwesterly winds, we can certainly hear them quite clearly from Caernarfon. They used to fire blanks, of course, except for one day when Lord Newborough celebrated his mother-in-law's birthday, fired a cannonball which landed to our left in the sand dunes on the Anglesey side. But unfortunately, he failed to notice the sailing vessel approaching. The sailing vessel had his mainsail very badly damaged, and Lord Newborough ended up being fined £25. As the judge got his cannonball back. It had been used as evidence. Same Lord Newborough was in command of one of His Majesty's warships during the Second World War. During the special raid,